When I was going through it, I felt like I was probably the only person in the world that felt that way, and how could I feel that way? And then once I started making mom friends and talking and opening up, I realized that it's very, very common, not just the normal struggles of motherhood, but to actually deal with depression or anxiety while you're pregnant or after, or when you have little kids. It's real.
Perinatal mood and anxiety disorders can occur during pregnancy and any time the first year after a woman gives birth.
It is known by a lot of different names, but what it isn't is baby blues. Those are very common, and it's very short-lived.
A lot of women think that maybe this is normal, or the baby blues, something that's just going to go away on its own. People tell women, oh, you just need some sleep, you know, go shopping. People don't really understand that this is a medical condition, that it's something that needs treatment.
I think I wish that I'd known that this was something that could happen, that even if you do everything right and you're prepared and you go to all your prenatal care and you want the baby and you're excited and you are so ready, that it's still something that can happen, because it's about hormones and it's not always something that you can control. It just happens to you, and that it isn't your fault.
While it's wonderful that many new mothers do not experience perinatal mood and anxiety, it's critical that we understand that 15 to 20% of new mothers do experience it, and they do need help, and there is help available for them.
The most common symptoms are anxiety, feelings of hopelessness or helplessness, frequent crying, feeling sad, low self-esteem, sleep problems, appetite problems. The most important thing about PMADS is that these symptoms won't go away by themselves.
Statistics demonstrate that 1 out of 7 pregnant and postpartum women up to the first year of baby's life suffer from postpartum depression.
PMADS is the #1 complication of childbirth.
While the most common disorders are depression and anxiety, women may also experience obsessive compulsive symptoms, panic, post-traumatic stress disorder, and in very rare cases, psychosis.
Although all women who are pregnant or postpartum are at risk for PMADS, some women have a higher risk. Women with little social support, women with financial concerns, women who have a history of depression, and moms that have very sick babies or premature babies.
Over 50% of women suffering from postpartum mood and anxiety disorder go undetected.
The first way that healthcare providers help moms is by talking about this.
For those who do have this disorder detected, only about 25% get into treatment. And this is really too bad, because this is a treatable disorder. These women are not alone. There is help.
At first, I didn't know I needed help. I thought that it was normal as a mother to feel exhausted and tired and overwhelmed. And I think it took a long time for me to realize that it might be something more than I could handle.
Letting women know that this is something that could happen to them, letting families know what the signs are, making sure women know that postpartum depression or anxiety isn't their fault, that it's something that's going on in their body, and that it's something to watch out for and something that can be treated. And by screening, by making sure that we screen women so that all women are getting an opportunity to get into treatment early, before we have all of the consequences for moms and for babies and for families.
We all are so careful to look like we've got it, even when things are falling apart, and that is not true.
There can be issues for moms, besides feeling terrible and having issues of shame and just feeling incompetent. We really see other kinds of issues like decreased breastfeeding, increased risk of not immunizing, just not connecting with the baby in the same way that mamas would want to.
With screening comes the need to treat women who have identified as having postpartum depression. We need to build a competent and trained workforce in order to meet that need. Currently, many of our providers have not been trained to specifically treat this disorder, and they feel really uncomfortable with that. And so we, as a nation, as a state, and then locally, need to increase education to our providers.
When reaching out to a therapist, a mom wants to make sure that the therapist that they're contacting is certified in perinatal mood and anxiety disorder and that they're comfortable and confident in treating the moms.
This is a very treatable disease, and we need to increase our capacity to provide treatment.
Besides individual therapy, there are other options it's important for moms to know. They can go to support groups, and maybe what they just need is to be around other moms that are feeling the same things that they're feeling so that they don't feel alone.
And it was hard. I know I'm talking on a video right now about this, but if you had seen me 5 years ago, I didn't tell a soul.
As a community, we tend not to talk about them, and it makes it much harder for a woman to get the help that she needs.
I can tell you, I am positive that every mom is struggling. They just don't always show it. I just wish that I would have known at the time that this was a possibility and that other women went through this. I just kept pushing forward and living on no sleep and not asking for any help. And I just kept thinking, if I was tough enough, if I was strong enough, we'd be okay. You're in this place where things are so dark and so bad that then it's even harder to reach out. And if I just asked sooner, all of the love that my family and my friends and people that were right there waiting that would have been ready to help, it would have been there so much sooner and we wouldn't have struggled for so long. I think that that's what I want moms to know, that there probably are a lot of people that love you and are ready to help you if you just let them in and just admit that we can't do it alone. We need help. And I wish I had done that sooner, so much sooner.